Good afternoon. My name is Shannon Craven, and I'd like to take you through the preliminary marketing research done to develop a new board game. When a new product is proposed, research must determine if the product will succeed. Proper marketing research can greatly increase the chances of a product's success. In this case, a new board game idea was developed. Research was required to help answer the following questions. Is the idea appealing and marketable? What changes could make it more marketable? Who is the primary target market? What should the artistic direction of the game design be? A preliminary survey was developed based on secondary research and information specific to the game idea. The preliminary survey would also tell us what questions should be added or changed for the finalized survey, and what further research is needed to more fully address the research questions. For the methodology used, secondary research in the University Reporter indicated that highly educated millennials were likely to play board games. Research also showed a resurgence of board game popularity in popular culture. The sample population surveyed were college students enrolled in an online master's degree program. In the survey conducted, 24 open and closed-ended questions included demographics, game concept attitudes, board game attitudes, and game design options. 80% of respondents responded by an online link and 20% responded by a QR code. Qualtrics and Excel software was used to analyze the data for trends and correlations between variables related to the game concept and attitudes toward playing and purchasing board games. All of the respondents' surveys had at least a bachelor's degree in some graduate school, meeting our target of highly educated individuals. The majority of students surveyed were also within the target age of millennials, with 86% being between the ages of 18 and 34. 29 students started the survey, but only 15 students completed it. The survey results were then collected and analyzed. We first sought to determine if the game idea was marketable. First, we asked if people thought that the game idea was unique. The majority of students, 93%, indicated that the game idea was either unique, having some elements of other games but with several new twists, or totally unique, stating they had never played a game like it. Aside from the game being unique, we needed to know if people would want to play it. 20% of students indicated that they would definitely want to play this game, but the majority, 53%, said they would be more likely to play if they were in the mood. Even more important than whether people would want to play it, would people want to buy it? 2/3 of students surveyed probably or definitely would not buy this game. Since 2/3 also stated that they play board games less than 6 times a year, we calculated whether people who played more frequently would be more likely to purchase the game. There we found out that 66% of students who play board games once a month or more would be likely to purchase this game. We also needed to know what people thought might make the game better. When asked how students would prefer to move around the board game, students indicated a strong preference towards dice over spinners or card draws. The survey asked students to rate their preference for 6 board game names. The results favored 3. Twist of Fortune, Turn of Fortune, and Fortune's Turn were the most liked and loved game names. We also wanted to know if there was anything else players would want to know before deciding to play the game. 26% of responders wanted to know how long it would take to play. We also needed to know who our primary target was going to be for this game. This preliminary survey targeted highly educated millennial students, but was this the ideal target? 64% of our millennial students indicated that they would play this game with family, but only 33% indicated that they played board games more than 6 times a year. Limitations. There were limitations to this research. Of the students who started the survey, only 51% of them completed it. All of the students who began answering the questions completed the survey, but those who didn't even answer a single question. This may indicate that the game instructions given in the introduction were too long or too complicated, or the respondents felt they might not have time to complete the entire survey. The sample did not include enough students who played board games frequently. Questions about the game design were inconclusive, possibly because respondents didn't have enough visual samples to choose from and couldn't actually see the game. A final and major limitation is that it is impossible to determine if people will like a game they have not played. A game prototype would need to be created. The preliminary survey provided enough positive response to provide direction to narrow the sample population for a second survey and focus group research. There were several recommended game improvements, these being test the top 3 names to find the most appealing name, use dice to advance around the board, perform multiple gameplay tests on a prototype to determine the time it takes to play, provide artistic samples to gain opinions from focus groups, and create a prototype game to test with focus groups. This preliminary research suggested a more focused sample target for future research. Because the survey results indicated that most respondents played infrequently and often with family, the sample target for the next phase of research should focus on adults who play board game frequently and families who participate in family board game nights. Disappointingly, the results of the survey did not provide any appreciable information on the design direction of the game. Artistic and design samples should be created along with a game prototype to gain useful guidance on the game design. For an updated survey, some questions would need to be reworded or eliminated. Future research recommendations include the selection of a more targeted, motivated sample, such as board game clubs, for surveys and focus groups. A few questions on consumer motivations should be added, such as, do you purchase board games? If so, what makes you want to purchase a board game? Do you own any games that you have never played? Or do you have to be in the mood to play a board game? Focus groups should test gameplay and provide feedback on game elements and game design. And finally, we should determine from the follow-up research results if the game should be proposed to a toy company or posted for crowdfunding. Thankfully, as a result of this research, we weren't sent back to square one.